Yat padam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So this concept that whatever you are doing is a part of the cosmos, the cosmic mind. We are unconscious instruments of the conscious mind. Cosmic mind. We should become conscious instruments of the cosmic mind. That is, all life is yoga. Everything. If I put it here, I should know what is happening when I am putting it here. What type of changes are being brought about when this particular physical object is placed by me here. The important aspect is by me. I am placing it here. Are you conscious of it? For many of our actions, we are not conscious. And when you become conscious of every action, even in your sleep, it is said that Lord Buddha was once sleeping and Ananda was with him, his elder brother, cousin elder brother. And Buddha was sleeping like that, and some mosquito disturbed him and he just did it like this. Then after some time he got up and sat, and then he slowly did it like this, and then he slept. Then Ananda asked, why are you doing that? Because I unconsciously pushed off the mosquito. You understand the importance of a small action that you are doing, even in sleep, must be with awareness. And that is Buddhahood. So all life is yoga. You got the point, you understood it? Everything, if you stretch your legs, if you sit in a particular posture, even that is yoga, and that is the importance of asanas. When you sit in a particular asana, Patanjali says, you get touch with infinity. I am not able to remember the exact sutra, but what he means in that sutra is, if you sit in a particular posture, and you can sit in that posture for 3 hours, you get siddhi. In any posture, if you can sit continuously for 3 hours. Probably that is where the cinema halls play a very important role. Because knowingly or unknowingly you will sit for 3 hours. So maybe they are training us in asanas. In integral yoga, it may be a fact also. Then we come to the 3 steps in nature. We go to the last page 19. Probably this is where we were yesterday. We perceive then, you see the book, we perceive then these 3 steps in nature: a bodily life, which is the basis of our existence here in the material world; a mental life into which we emerge and by which we raise the bodily to higher uses and enlarge it into a greater completeness; a divine existence, which is at once the goal of the other 2 and returns upon them to liberate them into their highest possibilities. So you remember these 3 steps always they happen. The first step is, nature has perfected some instruments. What are the instruments? The Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha. They are completely perfected. That is what Sri Aurobindo says in the Upanishads. The lords were shown first the cow and then the horse. And now you should understand what Sri Aurobindo in Savitri meant by Ashwapati Yoga. Ashwapati Yoga is a control of Annamaya and Pranamaya Koshas. We have the Annamaya Pranamaya Koshas, they are not in our control now. But nature has already perfected them. You understand this point. When Sri Aurobindo says it is perfected, it does not mean that we have perfected it. Nature has perfected it for us. We have a fully grown, well-tuned Annamaya Kosha. We will use the Vedic literature and yogic literature. We will not go for the, you understand, I don't want to use the English words, the bodily and vital. Because even Sri Aurobindo was very clear that yogic terminology must be used because they have a greater thought value. Later we will talk about the thought value. So the Annamaya and the Pranamaya. The Pranamaya Kosha is actually our nervous body. Why nervous body? The nerves react first to desire or mind. It is your nerves that react to desire or mind. And when the nerves react properly, the Annamaya Kosha becomes a helpless tool of the nervous body. Now you understand the nature of the instrument. This Annamaya Kosha is an instrument for the Pranamaya Kosha. And an instrument has no right to decide what it likes and what it dislikes. It should become a tool in the hands of the one who wants to use the tool. So when Sri Aurobindo talks about two things, the entire integral yoga can be summed up in only two words, aspiration and surrender. Aspiration goes from the tool and the surrender comes to the tool. You understand? The tool aspires to be used by the higher level. So the Annamaya Kosha becomes a tool of the Pranamaya Kosha, that is the surrender of Annamaya Kosha to Pranamaya Kosha. Modern society has mastered this aspect, this surrender. The physical body can go to any length if that proper desire is there. When you say desire, it means the Pranamaya Kosha. Next, what is now being developed is the mental body. The mental body is in three levels. The material mind, which we have full control. The material mind, or we can say the animal mind, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maidhunancha, we are experts. All animals are experts. But in yoga, these have to be first controlled. Your food must be controlled. Yuktahara. The Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter says, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. And remember, for us all life is yoga. Don't forget about this aspect. We are tuning ourselves to that way of thinking. And when will the yoga make you free from troubles, from sorrows? You have to have yuktahara. Yuktahara doesn't mean mitahara. You remember that? In many ashramas, especially in spiritual resorts, they think that eating less is yogic way of life. Eating less is not yogic way of life. Eating what is required is the yogic way of life. Then what you are supposed to know? You are supposed to know how the food influences your thoughts. That is yogic way of eating. And the present way of eating, do you think it is yogic way of eating?